Hiya, it's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Today I'm doing a trial of a Solarcolordust liquid crystal brushable pen. I have to say that slowly because it's such a mouthful. This is the pen. I hope you can see that. I don't know if it's focusing. It's basically a brush in a pen and you twist the end and the liquid comes out of the brush. If you can have a look, I have used this so you can see that it's changed colour because I've used it. It was white to start with. And yeah, let's see how I get on with this one. So to start with, I'm going to use a couple of little skull tattoos and I'm just cutting them out from the main sheet. I'm going to use the big one, but I've only got one small pen and I thought, yeah, the little ones will do the job. So I'm taking the backing off and I'm taping them down to a tile so that they won't move. I'm going to be using UV resin with this, and UV resin when cured can bend, so I want to make sure that they stay flat. So I'm taping them to a tile to keep them in the same place. I should explain quickly that you can't buy Solarcolordust items in the UK unless you import them or buy them from somebody that has imported them. There's no outlet in the UK that I'm aware of, and I've never seen them available on Amazon unless somebody has imported them. This one was purchased through a Facebook group called Resin Supplies Den, and I'll put the link in the description below. Recently I've been using the PBO Vitriol paints and I decided to buy a black one the other day, and I thought it would make a good liner for this to stop the UV resin from going over the edge. So I decided to go around the outside with the black 066 or Victory 160 paint. In my head it's going to make a good barrier for the UV resin not to go over the edge, and it worked really well. So I decided to use some other tattoos as well. I have one here of a dog and I have two stickers that are white butterflies, and I thought I'd try them as well. Now I hadn't actually read the directions of how to use this pen online. It doesn't say much on the pen, it just says squeeze it out basically. So I didn't realise that there was going to be issues with these. This is the resin I'm going to use. It's one I've purchased from Amazon. I love it. It's very quick to cure and it cures extremely hard. I'm going to put a base layer of UV resin on the tattoos before I put any of this colour changing ink. I don't think you have to do that, but that's the way I did it. And as it happens, it was the best thing I could have done for this because I ended up using a little scraper to scrape out the eye sockets because I wasn't happy with the colour of the eye sockets and the nose. And because I put the resin down first, I was able to scrape off the colour in the eye sockets and the nose very easily. And while that one is curing, I move on to the butterflies and the dog and do exactly the same with them. But I won't put you through the whole lot. This is the liquid crystal brushable pen from Solarcolordust. It holds 3mm in the pen, and the instructions say, twist the base for liquid crystal to appear on bristles of brush. Apply to smooth black surface and let dry completely before sealing with epoxy resin. Colour change appears between 60 Fahrenheit and 90 Fahrenheit. I did read this and I still carried on with the colours. It wasn't until I actually looked online and saw the instructions that I realised it shouldn't go on colour items, it should go on black. I don't know why I didn't figure that one out earlier, but you know, you live and learn. And I kept this in the video so that you can see that not everybody does everything right the first time, and I certainly had a learning curve with this. It also took a little while for me to wind up the twisting mechanism to get the paint to come out. I was wondering at one point whether it's actually going to do anything. So I start by putting a thin layer on all the pieces, and then I go over to the skull and do the same. So by this point I thought I'd better have a look online and see what it actually says. I don't know, better late than never, eh? So in big red letters on the description and item use, it says, please read this before purchasing. Do not mix liquid crystal with any other mediums as it can damage the colour changing effect. Fair enough. And then it says it should be applied directly to dry black surface and sealed once the desired effect is achieved. Please follow directions carefully. So that's when I realised it has to go on a black surface. It goes on to say, seal with a tested and approved clear coat. Clear epoxy resin or model master enamel both work well. Now I was using UV resin and I figured that UV resin was pretty much like clear epoxy resin, so I thought I'd be okay with that. It also then says further down, dry with hairdryer or heat gun in between layers. Repeat steps until you have applied 3 to 4 coats. Now I was thinking it wasn't working because I'd only done 1 coat, but you need 3 or 4, and I think I actually did 5 in the end. So once I'd applied 3 or 4 coats, then I started seeing the colour changing effect happen in front of my eyes. This is when I realised I was actually getting somewhere. It did take a little while, but it's well worth it. It's a lot of fun. So then I started scraping off the eyes. Now I didn't do a great job at this. I could have done a better job, but my eyes are not great and it was late at night. I think I was half asleep, to be honest. And yeah, so I used the dentist tool to scrape off the Solarcolordust pigment off of the clear resin that's underneath in the eye sockets. So I'm glad I put the clear resin down first. If I was to do this again, I would put the black paint around the eye sockets and the nose cavity as well as around the outside, and not put any of the pigment in the eye sockets at all. So I'm going to give it a top coat of the UV resin again. I think I actually put 2 coats on top to bulk it out a little before I took it off of the tile. So removing it from the tile, wetting the back and taking off the paper from the tattoo. And yeah, letting that dry. And then putting a backing coat of UV resin, again to bulk it out a little so it's not so thin. I also then went round with a little tiny silver line round the outside just to give it a little added effect. And this is the colour changing process. I've speeded it up and I'm using the heat gun just outside of the camera lens. But I wanted to show you what it actually did in different heat circumstances. Well, I definitely enjoyed playing with the Solarcolordust brushable liquid crystal pen. It was a lot of fun. There's not much left though. That's the tiny amount, I don't know if you can see that, that's the tiny amount of liquid crystal left in the pen. Now I did explain in there, in the video, that you can only buy this in America unless you import it because there's no outlets in the UK or Amazon actually, which does surprise me. But resin suppliers then do have some people that do import mass so that they sell on. And it's a little bit more expensive, but it's well worth it because the import tax is amazing. So I've been carrying these around for a little while and you can see the colour that I've produced. Look at that, my favourite colour, blue purple. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? And these change colour so easily. If you put them in the fridge and take them out, you can see them changing in front of your eyes. They're so beautiful. I'm going to make these into pendants. They're only little tattoos, they're easy to make. And it was a lot of fun. So, I think I've said that. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Have a great week. Come back and see what I'm up to next week. And bye for now.